Do you feel like you've been called to deliver a message in this earth? And what I mean by that is, do you feel called to be a communicator? Do you feel like you have a message, you have a perspective, you have a way of teaching that God has given you to be able to communicate with other people? Now, I would say this, that most likely the answer should be yes. There's very few people that maybe don't fit that category. And the reason why I say this is because we were all called to share, to communicate, to live amongst community, to be a light in this world, to carry what we have, what God has given us, and give it out to all men and women in this earth. Okay, so at some point in time, maybe you don't feel that way right now, and that's understandable. And I'm going to get to that in a minute. But you have a desire, you have a passion to share a message. Now, you may be feeling, as I actually have just kind of came out of that, and this is why I'm making this video, you have may be feeling that you don't really know what to say. It's kind of exhausting. There's a lot of stuff that is going on. There's a lot of stuff that is taking place. And the idea of sharing any message is just overwhelming. It just creates just a sense of heaviness that is like, man, I don't even want to share. I don't even want to say anything. I see all this stuff going on. You got your opinions, you got your thoughts, you see the post. It's doing stuff inside of you. You don't know really what to say. You don't want to say this because you don't want to offend this group of people. But at the same time, you want to share perspective. You feel like God's giving you a message. Maybe he's sharing some things with you personally that you want to share with other people, which is exactly what you're supposed to do. It's exactly what you're supposed to do. Now, let me tell you what's happening, right? Because you're not sharing, because you're not speaking to the people that you were created to speak to, and I'm going to get to that in a minute, you're beginning to feel weighed down. You're beginning to feel heavy. You're beginning to feel miserable in many ways. Because the feeling that comes when you silence a person, or when a person is silenced, or when a person feels so heavy that they can't even muster up the strength to share, they begin to feel depressed. They begin to feel down. They begin to not operate at their optimum levels, the levels that they were created to operate in. You were created to share. You were created to connect. You were created for all of these things. Now, what is the problem? What's happening? Here's what I believe is happening, and I believe this was happening to me, and I wanted to share it with you. You were not created to speak to everybody. Somebody needs to hear that. Let me say that again. You were not created to speak to everybody. Your message, your perspective is for a group of people. And listen, we need to be okay with that. We need to understand that listen, this message right now is not for everybody. There's somebody's going to watch this video and be like, yeah, whatever, bro. That doesn't even make sense. I don't even feel those things. Okay, that's fine. But guess what? It's for a group of people. I can guarantee you that there's a group of people that are watching this video. And if this spoke to you, man, do me a favor and just throw me an amen in the comments or something, right? Throw me whatever. Because here's the thing. Here's the reality of it. This message is for a group of people. I know that because I've talked to those group of people. I'm one of them. And we're feeling this way. And our lives are being affected because of it. So listen, you were not created to speak to everybody. Your message, your perspective, your thoughts, the things that God gives you to share is not for everybody. And listen, I know in this hyper trolling culture, this culture where we just get on here and blast people and eat people up and say all kind of mean things about them and criticize them for this and why aren't you talking about that? And listen, we got to get used to that. That ain't going nowhere, man. That ain't going nowhere. That's the culture. That's the temperature of the environment that we live in. You got two choices. You're either going to speak up and relay the message that God has given you, or you're going to shrink back. And let me tell you this. If you choose the first option of speaking your message, then you have to understand from the gate that your message is not for everybody. There's going to be a group of people that are not going to like what you say. There are going to be a group of people who are going to be very opinionated and accuse you of all kinds of things that you say. They're going to judge the motives of your heart. They're going to judge the character of who you are, your integrity. But listen, what is the alternative? Not saying anything? Not speaking up, not delivering a message, not communicating, not connecting, not doing what you were created to do? It's misery, man. Let me just tell you, it's misery. You don't want to go down that path. It's going to be only a matter of time before you start self-destructing from within, because you were created for connection. You were created. And let me just tell you this, the message that you have, that God is speaking to you, whether you're reading something and you want to share that, or God is giving you something through life experiences, or just maybe you just want to teach somebody how to do something. You want to connect, you want to relate. Let me tell you this, the world needs that. The world needs that connection. There are a group of people who need that connection. They need what you have. That's what leadership is all about. It's all about going first. Leadership is all about doing things when it's scary, when it's hard, when nobody else is doing it, when you could be criticized, ostracized, made fun of. That's what leadership is. And let me tell you this, man, the world is needing leadership. The world is needing leadership greater than ever, because we got all these pockets of people that other pockets of people are trying to tell us is the norm. This is what everybody thinks. And we're going back like, no, hold on a second. That's not what I think. That's not what a whole bunch of people I know think. We don't get down like that. We vibe much differently. That's not my normal, right? But listen, how's it going to change unless we speak up, unless we share our message? I know, man, I'm coming out of this. I've been feeling this way for a minute, and it's been really affecting me. What do I need to do? I need to understand this. And what do you need to do? If you're feeling that way, you need to understand you were not created to speak to everybody. There's a certain group of people that your message is for. You need to understand that from the beginning and speak faithfully, boldly to those people. I hope that encourages you, man. You need to speak up. The world needs what you have. God put that in there for a reason, and you are not going to live as happy, healthy, and whole as you could possibly live until you're doing what God created you to do. I hope that blesses you guys.